Welcome to No Quit, the podcast where real business isn't filtered. I'm Jeff Leschere, founder of Fleur de Lis Law and Title. I built an 8-figure company, but not without setbacks, burnouts, and moments that nearly broke me. This podcast is where I tell the truth about what it really takes to grow something that lasts. The wins, the losses, and the grit in between. If you're in it for more than just the highlight reel, you're in the right place. The stories shared on this podcast are based on real experiences, but details have been changed or generalized to protect client confidentiality. This podcast is for informational purposes only and does not constitute legal advice. Listening to this podcast does not create an attorney-client relationship. Welcome to another episode of the No Quit Podcast. I'm Jeff Leschere, your host. Today we have Brandi Lala Heath, right? Is that,
yeah.
Yep. One Pot Mama for all of those that have seen her on TikTok and Instagram and things like that. So kind of give me a little bit of background. You're from here originally, right?
I am, born and raised in Hammond for sure. Grew up going to Holy Ghost and then, switched over to Southeastern, St. Thomas first, obviously, then Southeastern. So,
Yeah, I think you may have gone to school with my partner, Steven.
Yeah.
Same class
Absolutely.
or around the same time?
Yeah, same class. Yep.
So, I'm going to dive right into it. I mean, we're going to touch on some background and family and things like that, but I'm just super curious of like how you got into this and how it kind of blew up, because it doesn't seem like that long that you've been doing it.
No, it actually, so I was a residential contractor and interior designer, and I started that before I actually had kids.
Yeah.
And so got pregnant with my first. I was still building, still doing all that. And then as I was, trying for the second one, as we were trying and everything, I always cooked, and I've always loved to cook. I grew up, my dad is a huge cook. My grandmother was a huge cook. So I've always loved to do it. And so I was always cooking anyway. And then it kind of started with like some of my friends like asking me some recipes and what was I cooking this week and stuff like that. Cause I always tried to find new different things. And it just kind of became a crazy thought to me one day of like, let me just post a picture of it or something. And it just kind of started just
catching on a little
evolving
bit
into this whole thing. And, so I kind of started running with it a little bit. And especially at that point in time, we did get pregnant with our second. And so I was like, building and with 2 kids. I mean, it's just
a few things going on.
And then I was doing this too, and it kind of just started catching on more and more. And I really figured out that I loved it more and more. I can't say that it was like a dream of mine to do, because it wasn't anything that I ever really thought about, honestly. But then as it kind of grew, became like I started to love it even more and love the whole idea of it just on socials and helping people. Like so many people were just like, oh my goodness, that's such a great recipe. I made it the other night. Thank you so much. And it's such simple stuff that it's easy for me. And like, I think it's easy, but it's apparently very helpful to
super
others.
Difficult for people that can't cook, which is me. But I think what struck me as sort of interesting as you were talking about that is I wonder, does this scratch kind of a creative itch for you? Because if you're interior design and then cooking, it can be very, regimented, I guess, but there's a lot of creativity. I mean, my wife never follows a recipe. I like everything she cooks.
Exactly.
So it takes a certain creativeness, I feel like, to do it.
It does, definitely. And it does scratch that itch for me. I would say another itch is really more so the fact of helping people, which is really, I think, what I loved so much about building and interior design is I was helping create somebody's home for them and like helping build that dream for them. And so now with this, I'm still helping them just in different ways. And so like it's a kind of a creative thing of like shooting it and netting it and, just doing all the voiceovers and everything like in that way of being creative. But then it's also like I still get to help others. And, I get messages and stuff from people, and I always tell everybody to save them and everything because it's so cool to go back and look after, because you're like, oh, I am helping people. And like,
I think that's interesting you bring that point up too, because to me, especially like design, I never really correlated those two together, but design and cooking are things that everybody sort of will dabble in, but they're not great at.
Sure.
So it's like me, like I feel like I could design a home and then I'd have somebody like you come in right behind me and change all the color types and lay out the floor and the furniture or whatever. And I'd be like, I have no idea what I'm doing. And the same would probably be true of cooking as well. So it's like some things that you're sort of forced into, or people don't know they can get a designer, or they have to cook every night. So like they can go to these things now and be like, oh, well, this is like 8 other things I could have done with the chicken rather than the same old, chicken quesadilla that I made, 8 nights in a row.
Yeah.
I love the name too, by the way. I mean, it's,
Thank
that's
you.
that's a nice, layout. Cause I always say that to my wife. She's a hot mom. So, that's what you think of. But anyway, I like that you're using like old school stuff. I see you use a Magnolite a pretty good bit.
I do, yes.
Is that yours? Was it handed down?
It was my mama's. Absolutely. It was my mama's. It was passed down to me and I will never get rid of it.
Yeah.
It's one of my favorite things. I do. I love using, I love using stuff that correlates with everybody else that most people have too. I mean, and if you don't have it, then you have something like it, so I use a lot of, the Magnolites. I use a lot of the cast iron skillets. I use, even like my crock pot and all that, stuff that's super easy for people. I mean, there's still some days that I'm very busy throughout the day and I don't even have time to cook. So that's a crock pot meal day for me, So, I mean, it works that way with everybody, and everybody still needs a lot of those recipes that are just, easy for different days of the week. Sometimes you have time to do a little bit more than other times. And
how old are your kids now?
so 4 and 18 months.
Are they, I mean, the 4-year-old, I guess, primarily, I mean, picky eater? Are they like trying different things?
Super picky eater.
Really?
Yes. Oh, absolutely. I last night had to make him a whole separate pot of noodles than what I made because he only likes them with butter and all the stuff.
I'm glad to hear there's another family like mine. My wife's forever cooking 2 meals a night. I'm like,
always, yes. But my 18-month-old thankfully eats majority of what we eat. So
no problem. Yeah.
Yes.
Well, it's got to be great for your husband. I mean, I know there's nothing wrong with like you having to be able to try recipes and cook all this food. Like he must weigh 400 pounds.
Yeah. He actually doesn't. He actually stays in pretty good shape.
Good for him, man. I'd be big as a house. Good Lord. So tell me, I guess, a little bit more too, I guess about your background, because it's not just this stuff. Like you have a family that's kind of like in this industry also, right? With the restaurant too.
Yeah. So family restaurant is Chavunkta's and the Anchor in Madisonville. And then we just recently added on and went into partnership with Pardo's. So Osmond with Pardo's and everything. So so now it's all 3 together. And so all under, one umbrella.
How fortuitous. Kind of I literally have not eaten at Pardo's in probably 10 years until last week.
Oh,
we walk in and, we had a server, Brianna, I think it was.
Oh, she's the best.
She was phenomenal.
I love her. Yeah. She's so sweet.
Yeah, small world. We have some common friends that are former builders. Maybe even know Rhonda and Jules Guidry.
Of course.
Yeah, well,
absolutely.
So they're big wine fans, and we are too, with some common friends, Todd and Regina, that own Red, White, and Brew. Yeah. And so we go in there and we start talking about wine with Brianna, and she's like, y'all happen to know Rhonda and Jules? So then we took a picture with her and sent it to Rhonda. And then y'all have that place. I had no idea that went down. How long was...
I know, such a small world. That was pretty recent. I think kind of like earlier of last year that all happened. But
that's a great little place, man. But so is Chavunkta's and Anchor. And
and look, they're all 3 different. They're so completely different from each other, which is what's great. So if you're feeling one way, one time, you can, try different ones out and constantly go to all 3 of them and never get the same thing.
Anybody implement any of your recipes?
No, not there. No way. Those chefs are way more professional than I am.
I mean, it's a different level of food, but
for sure.
I mean,
I'm more of mom chef.
How often do you have to, like, or not have to, but how often do you film?
Pretty much every day.
Really?
So I mean, if not 7, at least 5 days a week for sure.
Wow.
Yeah.
Man, that is a job in itself. So we talked about this earlier. I kind of wanted to touch back on it. Some of what we're trying to do here is to give a few people that are watching some guidance on, if they're waiting to make a move, or maybe they do something that, they want to start shooting, social on, or maybe they're just trying to decide, when do I divert off of this path in my career? Like, what made you say, okay, I can give up the building and being the designer? Because, I mean, if that's your bread and butter, probably what you went to school for.
Yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm. I mean, was that a hard decision? Easy?
So it was kind of one of those leap of faiths kind of thing. And it would just so happen, I just had my second baby and I was finishing up my last house. And it was kind of that fork in the road of, okay, which direction do I want to go? I knew I couldn't put all of my energy into everything, being a good mom, a good wife, taking care of the family, but then also building houses and also continuing, doing the one pot mama stuff.
Yeah.
So I knew I either had to go the one pot mama route fully, or I just needed to stop it and continue building. And it just kind of worked out to where once I finished that house and I just kind of started weighing everything out and wanting to be home with the kids a little bit more or have a little bit more of that flexibility and just kind of honestly where the economy was with people in building houses and stuff too. At the time, I was just like, you know what, if I'm going to try it, this is the time to try it. And I'll never know if it would have worked or not. It's kind of was one of those things that I would only know if it worked if I went fully into it to do it. But if it didn't, it's okay. I could always go back to building. I couldn't really stop one pot mama build and then go back to one pot mama later. Like, you know what I'm saying? It wouldn't have made as much sense.
I wonder, did anybody, and not too terrible in a negative way, more like protection, I guess, in a way, or trying to help you, did anybody discourage you from this route? Because, I mean, it's a pretty drastic,
For sure. I mean, it's obviously, and I wouldn't say discouraged, but obviously tons of questions. Clearly. Like between family and everything. Because also, I'm really the first one in any of my family who's done anything like this. And so it's a lot of just questions about, well, what does it mean? Like, how do you even make money? Like, it's just a lot of unknowns. And so I have several friends who are in, kind of the industry type of it to kind of learn more and
like in what way?
See just in like social media stuff. So whether they might not do food and stuff, but whether it's fashion and different things like that. So just getting different advice from people and kind of getting to understand it a little bit more. I was able to learn a lot and figure out the different ways that was great in order to make money, to be able to, to make it an actual business.
How does that work, by the way? Because we were saying earlier, it's like different depending on what platform.
It is, yeah. So different platforms pay differently. You get different brand deals with different sponsors. You have whether you decide to sell stuff like on LTK or just like through different links, or there's multiple avenues. I now have my cookbook. And so that's an avenue.
Was that a sort of a thought of yours though? Or is that something somebody raised with you and said, hey, you've got this platform now, you should go this route?
Yeah. So a little bit of both. So somebody came to me and, I was tinkering with it anyway, and somebody had came to me about it. And so, we put it into a cookbook form and started selling it. So that's like a different avenue. And then I just came out with my spices. That's a different avenue, which hopefully those this year will now start getting into stores and stuff like that. Wow. So there's just so many different ways to make money in the industry that, the very first person that I hired was an accountant, because I was like, there's just so many different.
Well, it's funny you say that, because even as a lawyer, that's the one thing I tell every business owner or new business, prospective business owner. Like, they come in and they talk to me, and everybody's kind of worried about this legality part.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you really need to start with your CPA.
Yeah.
Because they're going to make or break you.
Yeah.
And luckily I grew up with mine, Russell Taylor, Matthew and Taylor Matthews, CPAs in here in Hammond. Little pitch there. But like, I trusted mine a ton, and you really do need to, because you won't know for 20 years whether you're like, you'll wake up one day like, man, my guy was like super conservative, or he's the reason I got audited, or, I missed this deduction or whatever. But I mean, it really does. It's almost the most important thing in my world for sure. And I don't know anything about it.
Yeah, no, exactly. Well, and especially getting into a new world, it's very important to find somebody who is familiar with that world too. And so, that's kind of, one thing that I looked for in the person. And unfortunately, it wasn't anybody that I actually even knew, just because nobody I knew really knew that world very well. I mean,
so it's
I'm
like
not
a
saying they
specific
couldn't figure it out. But yeah, so
Really?
I actually have a marketing company who it's somebody who does all my website and different design and stuff like that. Now, I still shoot all my videos, edit a lot and all that kind of stuff. But they do a lot of because even just like my website is now a different stream, avenue of making money. Because, there's
they can buy
now
direct
ads
from
on
you
it.
kind of thing.
Yeah, and stuff like that too. So, there's just so many different things. And so by having them, they were kind of able to introduce me into somebody in that world who's, used to all of that and everything too, as far as that goes. So, but I mean, it's been great though. I mean, last year was my first full year, which was fun. And I mean, it was a successful year. And, at the end of every year, I always do Girlfriends in Gratitude at Chafuncta's, which is a big event that we have that helps raise money.
Was it like last week or something?
It was in November.
Okay. I feel like I just saw some pictures from something.
Probably. Yes. I know Kelly was there and all too, but it helps raise money to help feed the families for the holidays and everything. And it's something that's just important to me to kind of give back. Last year was our second year doing it. And so we'll continue to do it this year too.
Man, I when we invite folks on, it's like, just an interesting story, and I'm always shocked at like how much I don't know. Like there's so many moving parts there. I almost don't even know what to ask yet. I mean, I'm just still blown away about this accountant that like specializes in that world. I just never thought that there was such a niche, like, market there
I
for
mean,
those
and look,
guys.
I'm sure any CPA could do it. I'm not trying to say that they can't, but it was just nice having somebody who knew the kind of direction and different things to ask for and
You get
all
to
that.
legit deduct your home office, right? Because so many people try to, and they're like so illegitimate, but like your kitchen is
my
really where it
kitchen
happens.
is my
And there's
office,
video
for
evidence
sure.
of it every day.
Yes, there is.
Man,
Exactly.
nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
I just think it's so like interesting. Where do you see this spinning off or growing? Like,
So, I mean, look, I would love for it to grow, as big as it can grow, obviously. I mean, I never really go into anything without kind of putting everything into it and trying to blow it up as much as I can. I mean, I would love for it to just be even bigger and just different opportunities. The thing about this world, which is so fun, and really with a lot of things, is, throughout the whole year, different opportunities arise. I mean, I just went on Fox 8 the other day.
I saw that
which
too.
was so fun. Got to meet all of them up there. They are the best, staff up there, and everybody, and all the anchors and everybody are so sweet. And so that was like just such a fun day of doing.
It's really not work, huh?
Yeah, exactly. And so, just different things like that. And just, obviously follower count growing obviously is a huge help, but just helping and engaging with more people and just helping more people around, like truly be able to make kitchen and like make cooking in the kitchen fun again and not be stressful and not cook the same 5 things that you do every single week.
Sure. Well, what aspect, I guess, how does it work from, with regard, I guess, Instagram, say for instance, and brand deals? They've got to be expanding beyond just like, it's got to go beyond like cooking utensils or pots. Like, is it getting into like the clothes you wear, the appliances you have in the background? Like,
yeah. So, I mean, it's really anything, like anything that you see can be an opportunity. So whether it's clothes that you're wearing, whether it's a different, I mean, I did one last year for like, for meter, which is a meat thermometer that you put like for like your turkeys and different stuff like that. As big or as small as you can see, but even like certain foods. I mean, Kraft Natural Cheese is one of my big brand partners that I absolutely love them. They are the best. And so obviously that's just the cheese. That's just one part of the whole recipe. But still, I mean,
is there a lot of negotiation? Like, do they want you to say things a certain way or cook a certain item or do certain things?
They're all different.
Yeah.
They're all different. They all have like, so sometimes it's different things of like, okay, we're wanting to do this and promote this one particular item for, call it Easter. You know what I'm saying? Something like that. So there is some that are very driven, but then there's a lot of them that are more evergreen. So like some companies and some brands don't want you to do something that is so, Valentine's oriented or, Easter oriented, to be more evergreen so it can be on there for
use
year
it more
round.
often. Yeah.
And it not be so direct. But then some are the opposite. So it just kind of each deal and each brand and each reel and everything is completely different.
And so they know to reach out to like your marketing company or you direct them there, I guess.
They reach out to me. I don't have like a management company or anything yet. So because I still like to talk to everybody.
Yeah.
Like,
well, that's almost even
love
better.
That personable, my craft rep, like I absolutely love her. Like we chat all the time. She's so sweet. Even Blue Runner. Blue Runner is a big, brand of mine. And I love speaking with them too directly. Like I don't want to have to go through a management company yet. But I mean, I know there's, perks about it too.
But that brings up another, question, I guess, for me is, and since you're dealing with them directly like that, it's going to be a lot easier to answer, I would guess. But like, how much negotiation is there with regard to like your, personal brand, like morality clauses? Are they conscious of all your other like social media presence? Is that something that they talk about? Hey, we'd appreciate it if you don't did this or did that or stop doing that. I mean, do they get in that in depth?
Yeah. So, and again, it kind of, each brand has their own thing. So a lot of them are fairly, I would say, easy to work with. And a lot of them work with a lot of us all the time. So like they know this is how we make a living. You know what I'm saying? So like exclusivity and stuff like that, it's not like you can be exclusive just to one brand.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, but there's different parameters, around each thing. And I mean, I did have one last year, unfortunately, who I actually really love their products and I still use it. And I wish that we could have worked it out, but they wanted a full exclusivity for like 13 months and not working with anybody within that spectrum. And that's just it. And it was just such a large, it
Couldn't
was
have
just
a lot of
like-
opportunity.
Yeah, I mean, it was just such a large and broad category that unfortunately I couldn't agree to because
Yeah.
you don't know what's going to come up. So, it all is different. Sometimes they agree with you and sometimes they don't. Sometimes, it takes a little negotiation, but sometimes they, stick to their ground too. And you just have to decide as,
Is it a good fit or not?
right,
Yeah.
if it's a good fit or not.
Do you talk to a lot of others that are in the, like, maybe not just necessarily in the cooking, spectrum, but other, I don't know how to say this, like similar position people? Like, do y'all have like a community now? Like y'all talk and
We do. Yeah. I actually, I've grown and like have gotten so many friends just on social media. And it's funny. I mean, I call them friends in a way. I mean, we chat all the time. We've never met each other,
Yeah.
but it's funny. Like a lot of them, I actually do know people who know some of them and everything too. So, friends through people or just through social media online. Obviously, a lot of us do kind of the same thing. So it's just talking to each other about stuff. I mean, and even with the different partnerships with the brands and stuff, who else they partner with. Like I've kind of become close with some of them too,
I see.
which is a great thing because then you just get to meet more people and get to see, oh, what are you doing? And, vice versa. And, oh, here's this idea
Yeah.
and stuff too. So it's a great
It
community.
sounds like a lot of fun
people.
too, man. I wish
It
I had some kind of
is.
talent or interest that it did. Like, I mean, nobody can walk around with me doing, practicing law during the day,
Hey,
your
you never
confidentiality and
know.
stuff like that. And even if you didn't have that,
Right.
it wouldn't be that riveting, unfortunately. But man, that's just all super exciting. So I often wonder this part of it too for people that are kind of in the spotlight a little bit like that. Is this something that you sound like your experience is pretty good, so I don't think you would have any apprehension with letting your kids be involved, or do you try to keep them
Yeah.
out of the spotlight or out of the videos? Or
So they've been in plenty of them.
Yeah.
They have. Yes. I mean, they would always be if I just posted a picture anyway, I mean, and a lot of my people, like a lot of my community is kind of close community too. I mean, I'm sure, look, over time it's going to grow and stuff and people feel differently about it. But as of right now, I mean, I'm still very comfortable with it.
and you're not like real controversial with your content, so
no.
I guess there's that too. But you have what,
Yeah.
like 25,000 on TikTok? How many on
Mhm.
like followers on Instagram do you have?
So between Instagram and Facebook is right around 22.
Good Lord. Yeah.
So yeah.
Man, that is just a world I don't understand really. I mean, it's super interesting, but I don't even how to know. I don't know how y'all get together and just like start to figure this out and post things. And I'm so apprehensive even just doing this. Like
Yeah.
I was telling someone earlier today, I have not watched an entire podcast I've done yet
Yeah.
because I still can't get over my own voice.
Right.
Like I can't stand it. You know?
Well, look, that I will say that is the biggest thing in the beginning is getting over your own insecurities per se that, which is your voice usually just to everybody,
Yeah.
or how you look on camera or anything like that. And it's just like anything else. The more that you do it and the more that you practice, you learn different tricks and you learn different ways of like, oh, okay, I feel better in this way, or, oh, just turn this way and stuff like that. And so you learn what
Little
you
by
feel
little, I guess.
comfortable with, and then you just ultimately become more comfortable with it.
Yeah. You ever do any like live shot or is it all edited?
I haven't done true live.
Mhm.
Because I mean, I do like cooking a recipe live could take a long time.
That's true,
Doing
too.
it live,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? So it's just I haven't done that part yet, but I am getting into this year my YouTube channel of doing like more of the longer form of instead of it just being like a little 30-second clip, it would be me actually cooking everything so you could see it.
So
and
kind of
everything,
staging
too.
it like cooking shows do, right? Like this is
Mhm.
how you prep it, and then you put it in at 350, and all of a sudden they've got a second oven, and they pull
Yeah.
it right out. It's like already cooked. Like here it is,
Yes.
all finished.
Exactly.
Yeah, I guess so. So, and when you get to that level, you're going to continue to do it on your own and like edit your own stuff. and-
Yeah, I mean, look, at some point, I'll definitely have to start bringing people in, just depending on, how, because I would like to. I mean, I know that I said that I do film like at least 5 days a week, but that's usually one recipe 5 days a week, which I know sounds like a lot, but in the grand scheme of things, sometimes it's not. Like right now, I've already started filming stuff for Easter, for summer and stuff like that. So, it just kind of depends on the time of year and how much content you want to push out and everything to people.
So you say you film one recipe 5 days, like you're cooking the same thing all 5 days, just getting different.
No.
Okay.
So something different every day, because the majority of my stuff is what we eat for dinner.
Yeah.
So I mean, I'm cooking dinner anyway. And so I can't, it's very not often that I'm like, unless I'm literally throwing something together and I have no idea what I'm doing, I probably won't set up a camera, but that's very, that doesn't happen very often.
I mean, how economic too. It's like you're not going out to eat, not that you're cooking at your own family restaurant,
Right,
but you're saving that money cooking, and while you're cooking it, you're filming it, which is converting into dollars. Man, that is a hell of a circle you got going there. That's great.
And look, there's a lot of brands who just do like gifting partnerships and stuff too. And I mean, if it's a brand that I use a lot, like Kettle and Fire, I love their bone broth.
Stuff,
I love it. I use it all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And so I have a gifting thing with them, and they send me product and stuff all the time, which is phenomenal.
Sweet.
I mean,
Wow.
So there's a lot of stuff that is great in different ways, and just a lot of different avenues of it.
So it always goes so fast here. I still have so many questions, but I did want to make sure we touched on your cookbook and your spices. So the cookbook came out like less than a year ago, huh?
Yeah. So the cookbook came out in 2024, and it's called What's for Dinner. It's 50 easy one-pot recipes. It's kind of like my original OG, recipes, and but they're so simple, which is great. And it's all stuff that's easy for like weeknights, under 30 minutes. There's a little section in there that's stuff that takes a little bit longer. So like you would make it on the weekend, but it's still one pot, recipes.
I'm thinking I got a daughter who's 20, about to be 21 at LSU, and hopefully getting into law school, but she lives, she's got a house over in Baton Rouge. I'm like, this is the kind of stuff that she needs to be cooking.
Yeah.
And then I'll have a reason to go and visit more often too. And then with regard to the spices, so those just came out. You're going to have those in stores?
Yes. So I'm working towards that this year of putting them in the stores. They came out right before the holidays last year. So, stores and everything at that point in time are very, like, they're already set up for the holidays and all of that. Plus, I was, selling them just through just different markets that I went to, or Girlfriends in Gratitude, and just online and different things, which they're still for sale online. But it's called Creole, Trinity, and Herb. And I found myself using kind of like the same 4 and 5 spices in majority of my meals. And I would add in other things too, just depending on what it is, but I was still using these staple ones in every meal. And so I kind of made my own special blend of all of those. So it's the dehydrated, Trinity, which is like, if you don't have like an actual onion, bell pepper, and celery, like it's okay. You can actually use this as well instead, or it can just enhance, if you have it too. And then it was a combination of like Creole and Cajun spices in there, just like a good little balance of both. I always love like a garlic and herb, so I put some of those spices in it, and then just kind of like an all seasoning. So it's really a combination of everything. So kind of the idea is you don't have to use other stuff. So you could use like a one pot,
you have something to fall back on as a safety net.
Or you can just have it in addition to everything. But I mean, I use it in probably 95% of my meals.
Well, everything was so like, you're so confident and positive or anything. It's like I kind of missed some of the main theme here of like what adversity you overcome. But I mean, I guess at this point, is there anything you can think of at any point in doing this where you were just like, because it doesn't sound like there is, like you're like, I don't know whether I should continue doing this. I mean,
not yet. Yeah. But mainly because I've been having fun with it too. But it's kind of like with anything and with whatever you do. If you're able to have fun with it, then it doesn't seem as much of a job.
It definitely comes through in talking to you and watching the videos. Like you love what you're doing, you're having fun with it. And if anything, I'm just, kind of jealous. I'm like, man, I don't know if I come to work every day that excited about doing what I'm doing. But
well, thank you. I appreciate that. I do love it. Look, it has its challenges like anything else does. And it has its, highs and lows times, just like anything else does. But I'm very much so of the person who, I know that I'm getting into a low season or a low part of it. And so what are we going to do to change that up? So kind of overcoming it and,
Yeah.
figuring out a different direction, pivot a little bit.
Well, man, I super appreciate you coming on. I'm like I said, I'm gonna be finding the cookbook for my daughter, and we'll be keeping an eye out for the spices in the stores coming up. But
Absolutely. But
congrats.
it's on my website right now,
Okay.
too, so it's easy
Oh,
to
great.
get.
So we'll just find it there. What's the website?
Yeah, just the onepotmama.com.
Yeah. Well, congrats on all the success, and I like I said, I appreciate you coming on.
No, thank you for having me. I loved it.
All right, thank you. That's it for today's episode of No Quit. If you're still showing up, still building, still fighting, I see you. Subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts and join me for more behind-the-scenes lessons on what it takes to keep going when most people would walk away. And remember, success isn't about getting it perfect. It's about not giving up.